What's up, everybody, and welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. As usual, I am Mike, your host, and today we are going to talk about something quite interesting and fun because I think a large percent of the population of the world think about doing a trip. Anybody can go to their hometown for a couple of days to relax. Anybody can go to the beach. I'm talking about a trip, the trip of your dreams, the most ambitious, the biggest, the craziest trip you can think about. Which one is yours? Remember, we have a comment section in which you can participate and tell us or write us everything that you want according to the topic. Which destination of the world do you dream to visit? Are you planning something bold as well? Have you tried many alternatives of traveling, such as hitchhiking, such as having a road trip to maybe from where you are from until the end of the world? If you are thinking about that and you think it's too crazy, don't you worry. You're not the first person to think about that. Actually, both of our guests have made some interesting choices according to their destinations of traveling. But enough about me. This is about them. So let's bring them out. Making their debut to the Let's Talk Show. Not one, two new guests. We have Ana and Guillermo. Where are you guys?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you guys are doing great as well. Thank you so much for taking your time to participate in our show today. I was actually, may I say, shocked in a good way, of course, about your experiences because wow. You guys really went all the way in your ideas, in your experiences. So, to show the viewers what I'm talking about, let's peek into what you guys have to say. Let's dig them out little by little. Let me start with Ana. Ana, I was told at first that there was one place in particular that you know very well, which is where you currently reside. We will mention that later, but I wasn't aware that also you have visited many interesting places of the world. For me and for our viewers, could you tell us which ones are they?
Yeah. Well, currently I'm living in Australia. It's the place I wanted to go since I was 13 years old. And I work and finally I made up my dream come true. But Australia was the start of that trip because I saved some money, and in 2016 is when I decided to go on a backpacking trip. So I went to Bali, I went to India, I went to Thailand, to Spain, to Italy. On that trip, the 2016 is where I went. Very, very good experiences, many stories to tell from that trip. I think I took many risks on that trip, but I was younger. Now I'm a bit more conservative, but still I like adventure. So really, really nice.
And why Australia? Was your dream destination, if we can call it that way? What called your attention from that country?
I would say at the beginning, I was watching a lot of documentaries, Steve Irwin, and because I like animals and nature so much, it's starting to caught my attention. So that's why I decided at first. But then I started liking surfing. I don't really surf. I tried in Mexico actually, but it's one of the things that, like, more things were adding up to what I was liking about Australia. And now that I'm here, it's even more because, Aboriginals lived here 15,000 years ago, and they have a good connection with the earth, which is one thing I really like because it's like Mexico. Indigenous people in Mexico were having a connection with nature. And also here in Australia, they have similar things, similar connection. And also, for example, now with my boyfriend, we like going camping, which is really nice. It's a nice way to connect with nature, with yourself, and also have a bit of peace in these chaos of cities. Actually, I live in Melbourne. It's not that busy as Mexico City, but still, it's a city. And it's really nice. Nice food. We have security. I don't have to worry about having my phone on the train. It's a nice place to live, I would say.
I have no doubt, for what I have researched myself and for what I've seen in different media, that Australia is rich in nature, different ecosystems. But could you confirm also if the fauna is actually as dangerous as many people say? Because that's kind of like a stereotype that I'm very curious about, because they say, I mean, they have like giant crabs, giant bats, giant spiders, giant like sharks everywhere, like, and I go like, okay, how true is that?
I think it's a stereotype, but at the same time, it's real. There's many big spiders, many sharks. But for example, here in Melbourne, we have some spiders. The worst is the redback. It's like a black widow. But I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any since I'm here. But if you go to the north, then there's crocodiles swimming in the ocean with sharks and also stingers. But I think you learn a lot when you are here, how to be responsible, not to be at risk, how to manage a situation if you got bitten by a snake or for example, in Sydney, there's a funnel spider, which is one of the most dangerous ones, and they are in the houses. But I haven't seen any of these. I haven't. And I have been living here for a long time.
And I hope you never do. I hope you never do.
Yeah, I hope too.
Cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers.
But I would say Australians want to scare people because they have songs and they all are always saying like, a drop bear will fall down from the trees. Drop bears are koalas. And it's not true. It's just a joke they make for tourists.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Now I'll be more alert. Like, I'm not sure if you're telling the truth, mate. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Guillermo. Guillermo, as I understand, you have accomplished one of the most ambitious trips I've ever heard in my life, which is going from the Patagonia to Mexico, if I'm correct?
No, the other way. I went from Mexico to
the Patagonia. Yeah. But riding a bike.
Yeah. I do it in a bicycle, my trip.
In a bicycle, yeah. I mean, what gave you the idea for this odyssey? What made you take that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to call it risk, but not in a bad way. But I'm thinking about in a way that thinking outside the box, like, you know, screw taking the bus, screw taking the plane. I'm just gonna ride over there with both of my legs, with the power of my legs. What gave you the idea for that?
Well, first I always wanted to do a trip, Central and South America. So when I decided to do it, I was like, what is the best way to know the places to really get into there? So I said, in bicycle. So I started in 2012, and it took me almost 7 years in the travels. I start here from Mexico, then I go to Central America, from Belize, Guatemala, all that to Panama. Then I took a boat because there is no way you can cross with bicycle to South America, and you have to do it on boat. So I get to Colombia and then all the way down to to Argentina, to the most the city more in the south of the world, that is Ushuaia.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. In bicycle, I took the risk. I left in here with like 2,000 pesos. When they are over, I start to work. I start to get to the way to survive. And that's how I do it. Yeah. I travel first alone, 2 years alone. The first 2 years alone. Then when I get to Brazil, I knew a girl that we became to be a couple. We are not couple anymore, but by the way, and we travel 5 years all the way to Brazil, and Bolivia, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile. Sorry for my English. I haven't spoken English in a while, so I
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to know the cultures, to know the people, know the nature, because in bicycle I didn't touch too many cities. All the time I was on the fields, the jungle, the mountains. I have my camping, my tent, and every time when there was getting dark, I find a place to stay, and that's how I do it. It became a way of life.
That lasted for 7 years. I mean, great, bro. Great. And what was the stop that took the longest for you, or which can also be translated the hardest stop for you to move?
I stopped in a city called it's a little city called Boa Vista in Brazil. There I stayed like 5 months, or less, 5 months, and that's where I most stable, because there I get there, we get in a like a hippie community.
Woo!
So there I learned how to make handcraft all that way, because at the beginning I was working with everything I can. Now I do construction in the field, and everything I can do to survive. And there I learned how to make handcraft, and that was another way so I can get money to still travel. And it was like I was traveling 2 years in that moment. That's where I stopped a little bit. And that's where there in that city, I knew the girl was my partner, and we started to travel together.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
We will dig more about it in a while. In the meantime, like it all started, like you mentioned earlier, as a trip to discover the place you dreamt about. Then you moved to other countries. But why, or what was the reason that you decided to establish yourself and not coming back to Mexico at all to establish in Australia?
Well, many things have happened, but when I was in Mexico, when I was in Mexico, I wasn't feeling very well.
Okay.
I was having some depression. The first time I came to Australia and did that big trip, and then I came back to Mexico, I was there for 2 years, and it was a bit hard because I was always trying to go out again. Like that spirit of adventure was always in me. And then when I finally came back to Australia, I started to feel again alive. So I think here, even if you have struggles because you are immigrant, you will always have struggles like missing your family. I miss the food so much, the traditions, I love the Day of the Dead really much. And we have many nice traditions in Mexico that you don't have here. For example, right now it's winter and there's nothing to do. People just go to their houses, watch movies. I miss many of these things. But at the same time, here I can work easily. In Mexico, it was a bit harder for me. And well, also now I have my partner, and it's like you start to build your own family here, so that also makes you want to stay in the place. But I feel calm here. I think I feel in peace, at peace here. So that's why I decided to live here.
What have you adopted of from the culture of Australia, the way they are? What have you like decided to adopt for your everyday life?
The food. Actually, even if I miss Mexican
Oh
food,
yeah.
yeah, I don't eat much red meat, practically anything. And here they have many Asian food, and Asian food. Well, they have red meat as well, but like I love experimenting. So I would say, especially here in Melbourne, it's very multicultural. So I love going to restaurants and try Indian food today, Korean food the next day. So I would say that part of experimenting. Also, it's nice to have friends from everywhere. It's another thing that I really enjoy. Maybe I'm not traveling right now, but I can kind of travel with friends that I meet every day because they tell me stories. They tell me their well, things that they do in their countries, which I really appreciate learning every day. Uh, I would say I adopted this multiculturality. That this is another reason why I like living in Australia, because I have like adventures every day, because I will meet many people every day that are so different to me. Hmm.
Speaking about the many cultures that there are in the world and the experiences that you guys have had, Guillermo, you visited several countries during your odyssey. How different were the cultures of the places that you visited were in comparison of what you know, and also what have you learned from them along the way?
Well, there are obviously some difference, but like visiting Latin American countries, there are some similarities with Mexican culture, but it's really different when you start to enter the culture of the country, the food, the type of the people, how they are, how they. For example, when I get to the first days in Argentina, I get to a town and it was 1 p.m. and I didn't feel so anyone in the streets. It was like a ghost town, no? So I was like, well, where are the people? No? So
Yeah.
they have the time for the siesta, they say. No? So they took a lot, like 5 hours from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., 6 p.m. that everything is closed. There is no one in the streets, no. But you just start to I don't know how to say that, to get it a little bit, how to do it in different countries, the way they are. For example, the countries that are more in the Andes, they are a little bit more equal, if I say it, no? And it was very different from when I was in Brazil, you know, that everyone is really, really, really one very, there are, so that you get in a town and everybody's coming up to see you because you are in a bicycle, this take a lot of the attention of the people, like a town where there never were people from other country. And they're like, where you come from? No, they are from Mexico. In bicycle, yeah, in bicycle. So everybody want to go, that you go to their home and stay there, and it's really nice. You just start to learn a lot from the cultures. When you become a little bit more to cultural, you know? The food, everything. So you just start to get it, and you have to be open. No? It's not your country, it's not your culture, and they don't have to adapt to you. You have to adapt to them. No?
Totally.
Yeah, and that's very nice because you start to adapt everything. You are very easily going. You stop all the having all the like Sylvia Fat very, very enjoyable from your culture and that is like a network to your ideas and all that kind of things. So that's what I say is really nice from travel because you're open, the world's open a lot, yeah.
All right. Both of you have had to experience a very big adaptation when it comes to the places that you have been. But, like you said, there are a lot of similarities from Mexico. And Anna, you actually experience a little piece of Mexico in a certain part of the world. And that, as I understood, was a very fulfilling experience for you. Could you tell our viewers what was it about? It was mystical.
That's one of my favorite stories from my trip because I couldn't believe what was happening. So I was in the north of Australia and I wanted to hitchhike for the first time. Actually, last time. I have never done that again, but I wanted to experiment that. So I drew on a paper the name of the next city I wanted to go, which was 6 hours away. I went to the highway and I was just waiting for someone to stop. It was only like 10 minutes. Someone stopped. Actually, very quick. I was shocked. And then when I was there with it was a man. I asked, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?" Quetzal. Quetzal? Well, Quetzal is a verb from Mexico or Guatemala. How do you know that? Well, I'm Mexican. What? No, I can't believe you are Mexican. Where are you from? I'm from Yucatan. I'm Mayan. I'm a shaman from like Yucatan. I was like, what? What is happening? I'm on the other side of the world, and I couldn't believe the person that stopped was Mayan. It was so nice experience. We were talking for 6 hours. He was very nice. He invited me lunch. We were talking about life. We were talking about spirituality, about family. For me, when I arrived to the city he was taking me to, I was like, what just happened? This is unbelievable. Like even next day or 2 days later, one of my friends from Mexico arrived to Australia to visit me. So he invited us to go to a market where he was selling his Mexican necklace or art craft. I was like, wow, this is an experience I will never have again. It was amazing. It was really, I was connecting with my roots in the other side of the world. So it was really amazing experience. Yeah.
And what were the chances for something like that to happen? Like you said, you were in the other part of the world. Like what?
It's like almost no chance to have that. Like, and he wasn't stopping. He told me I didn't want to stop, but I had like a feeling, and I stopped, and then this happened. It is crazy. He lived even in Mexico City as well. I think he was living in Nezahualcóyotl. But yeah, it was really, really cool to connect with someone. Actually, I have videos because around that time I was making videos of everything. I never uploaded anything on YouTube, but I have videos of him, of his band. It was really cool.
But at least that experience filled you from within. So
yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much for sharing with that. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was beautiful. And moving on to Guillermo, you have a surname that also relates to what you do. And that nickname is El Güero en Bicicleta. Could you tell me the background of that? What is it about? And just give our viewers more information on the matter, please.
Well, that's because I am blonde and I like bicycles. I was like, well, here in Mexico, we tell the blondes güero, no? So everybody start to tell me that, like, to recognize me And here, when I come back, like, he's the world I like the bicycles. So that's where that comes, no? Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, you know what's your content in social media when you, because I imagine so that you were, like, documenting some stuff from your trips, or maybe, uploading a lot of pictures, or saying, hey, I'm right here and this is a beautiful place, or I didn't know in here they did this, etc., etc.
Well, not too much. I'm not much into social media.
Okay.
I was more for my family and friends to see it, so they can see it where I am. But it can, when I start traveling, I get like 2 months, 3 months, and I didn't stay near to a computer. So I liked it more to be disconnected from that, because first I didn't have where, I was no internet, I didn't have a cell phone until one day. I was like 4 years without cell phone. Yeah. Until I was talking with one couple in Brazil, and when they told me, hey, can you give me your phone number? They said, well, I don't have a cell phone. They went crazy. And they said, no, wait a minute. And they went to their house and they give me a cell phone. So I said, well, okay, thank you. And that's where, but for 4 years, I didn't have a cell phone. I uploaded a little bit of photos and videos, but not for everyone to see, not for my family and friends. But I certainly have a lot of pictures, a lot of videos. But I didn't upload all of them. Then, like, when I got the cell phone and that, like, the people start to say, like, hey, you have to make a Facebook page or something like that. Well, I made it out, and then I started to upload some pictures on when I was it, but I didn't have in such a plan of social media. No?
Fair enough. And I imagine so that both of you have still a lot to share, a lot to to talk about, a lot of experiences that you had during these moments of your life. But unfortunately, it's almost time to wrap things up. But before we do, let's just finish with a bang using the rapid fire session. In your opinions, or based on your life, what is the best way to travel? Anna?
Well, I would say solo travel is a good way because you will learn a lot of yourself.
What about the transportation?
Well, I don't know, a mix of everything.
Why not? In your case, Guillermo, best way to travel?
Bicycle, and also traveling is really like Anna says, you start to know yourself a lot. But I have to say, like, traveling couple, it was really nice too, because you start to get more. You start to know that you are not the only one there, so you have to be more comprehensive, and you have to learn more about the other person. So the other way is really nice.
Okay. Is there a destination next on your plans, right around the corner, or one that you have in mind? Anna?
I would love to go to Kenya. I want to go to Africa. I have never been in Africa, so Kenya is a destination.
There we go. Guillermo?
Well, I'm going back to South America the next year. Also, but doing the other way, the other country I didn't know. And I'm going to, well, I'm planning to go to Africa, doing all Africa from Morocco to South Africa, and then all the way back to Egypt.
All right. Africa is in both of your bucket lists. That is the next destination. However, what is a certain place that you have to see or visit before you die? Like, you can't leave this world without having been there. Anna?
Actually, I would like to go to Congo, but it's a bit dangerous. Like people have told me it's not a good idea, but I love gorillas. So it's one of the places I would like to go.
Oh,
Yes.
you only live once. It's your life.
Yeah, who knows?
Enjoy
Maybe
it.
one day.
I hope you do. I hope you do. Guillermo, what about you? Place you have to see before you die.
I really want to go to Africa. All the
Eh,
countries, like
the whole continent.
yeah, all that I can travel. Yeah,
All right. Hope both of your goals fulfill, guys. And based on your experiences, a place you fell in love with, a place you really love that you felt connected with. Anna.
Japan. I believe in past lives, and when I went there, I felt like I lived there before. I felt so connected to everything, and it was easy to travel there, even if I didn't speak the language.
Arigatou gozaimasu. What about you, Guillermo?
you're talking about a country, Brazil. Brazil is great.
Brazil.
Yeah, I love Brazil. It's wonderful. It's gigantic. It's have all the nature you want. It's impressive, Brazil. I'm in love with Brazil.
Guys, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for being here. And you're always welcome in the Let's Talk show for more that you want to share in some other time, of course. For now, it's time to say hasta la vista. But once again, thank you, and
Thank you very
I'll be
much.
seeing you.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. See ya. Have a
My
good day.
pleasure. You too, guys. And
Thank
for our
you.
viewers, that's it for today. And be sure to tune in on a weekly basis on Wednesdays at 8 for the Let's Talk show. Guillermo was with us, Anna was with us, Eric Rios was in the controls, Poncho was in charge of editing. I am Mike. Goodbye and good night.